James Duncan Bimmy Rolfe is a figure that needs no introduction. If you like this channel, you probably know who that is, because it was the direct inspiration. But comparing his bread and butter, the angry video game nerd, to everything else, there's been other similar things, sure, but really only one true spiritual successor that reached the heights and standards that he made for himself in his prime. Bored James, a true runner-up and great example of an internet spiritual successor.
Once upon a time, in the black part of the city...
Hey, look at this! I've been cleaning out my nest, and I found an old book of my poetry.
The angry video game nerd's influential and commercial success meant episodes were produced in a higher quantity after April 2006. But by April 2009, 67 episodes had been produced, which seemingly created the urge to do something else. An attempt to shake up the side content beyond what was contractually obligated to be produced, which led to a video review of the board game Mousetrap. A simple but different analysis in comparison to what else was being reviewed on YouTube at the time. It wasn't just a discussion about it either, it took advantage of being a YouTube video and highlighted all the action which made it beloved to begin with, and not being done in the AVGN format for an attempt to be different. And given that it was the same guy, same humor, and similar nerdy retro thing, it could have easily been a way to shake up the format for AVGN episodes. The AVGN Ninja Turtles 3 movie review duology is the only non-game or game-related episode, which excludes things like Nintendo Power, which are related to the primary medium. Although the video is in character, the Ricky 1 review is not listed as an episode, unlike the video it was co-released with Nostalgia Critics Bebe's Kids for NES and Nostalgia Critics Bart's Nightmare, which each count as episodes in the chronology. AVGN's Ninja Turtles 3 movie review features the alias The Angry Movie Nerd, which is only used once. The duology faced copyright issues like most of early YouTube featuring movies, so I imagine there's an alternate timeline where this alias was used again, and the use of a temporary alternate alias not derailing from the presence of signature nerd comedy, additionally excluding any Nostalgia Critic guest appearances, which makes this specific experiment more commendable, and the comedy better given the opportunity to exaggerate his beef with the movie. It's not like he ever did this again, so there couldn't be a worse movie. This Mousetrap review easily could have been the start of another alias, the Angry Board Game Nerd, but it wasn't. It was just Cinemassacre Board Game Review. I find this respectable from a statistical and creative perspective because way more people would have watched it if it was included in the AVGN chronology and Star the Nerd, equaling more money in the end. But its follow-up established a different character, a title character, Bored James. His establishment enhancing the opportunity for differentiality, which at the end of the day, it's still inevitably similar because it's a self-insert. Like the first in-character episode, Episode 2, Dragon Strike, has a bit involving the word crap a ton of times.
Ooh, rusty crap. That sounds nasty. Rope crap. That's like a long piece of crap coming out of your ass. Poison gas crap. I've had that one before. Falling rock crap. Oh man, I don't think that one needs an explanation.
Like, the nerd could totally say that, and Bored James is inevitably similar, but the more exaggerated aspects of the nerd character are noticeably and reasonably excluded, pasting those attributes onto Bored James's friend, motherfucker Clarence Mike, first introduced in Episode 3, Crossfire. Not only does this benefit the premise of board game reviews, something that's almost always multiplayer, but the personality of a motherfucker allows additional highlights of the topic, showcasing how you could cheat in a game, both benefiting the analysis and comedy. Motherfucker Mike allowing for more of the signature Cinemassacre juvenile comedy, but actually having an advantage over AVGN in my opinion. Mike Matei is great at ironic impersonation comedy, but also just normal juvenile comedy.
Hey man, did you just swear?
Yeah, fuck you, dick.
Mike's presence in AVGN had always been an exaggerative impersonation, so here it's a benefit to see Mike as himself and not somebody else's character. In AVGN, I'd argue there's a handful of instances where the episode quality is hindered on the additional character quality. Like the Nintendo World Championships episode has all the pieces in the right place, it's just that Pat the NES punk isn't fucking funny. Nerdy Turd and Shit Pickles episodes could be better if their character was given anything to do, better justifying their inclusion. Gadget will always be the superior Cinemassacre animated poop character.
Brown bricks with Minecraft.
AVGN's Texas Chainsaw Massacre has 3 extra characters and the performances are great, and it's one of the best episodes of the series in my opinion. If Motherfucker Mike was established in episode 2, he'd be perfect for saying poison gas crap. Episode 8, Mr. Bucket, being a turning point for the series, adding a horror aspect to the comedy. The plot is so stupid that it loops back around to being genius, consisting of the toy coming to life and wanting to suck on James and Mike's balls instead of the balls included with the game. Mr. Bucket got a re-release in 2017, and I remember being so shocked seeing that in the store for the first time, because I, and I'm sure a whole generation of kids, were first introduced to Mr. Bucket through this stupid edgy video. And I've never looked at a Mr. Bucket normally ever in my life, this video ruining my life in the best way possible. These first episodes are considered as Season 1, released between 2009 and 2010, with Season 2 running between the rest of 2010 to 2013. The next episode, Tornado Rex, while not being an apeshit horror, further improved the format with the introduction of Bad Luck Bootsy, expanding the group to a main trio. Bootsy working as a purposeful incorporation to display how mistakes can be made and victory can be achieved with his losses. The Punching Bag Player, once again, both benefiting the comedy and analysis aspect of the series. Bootsy also contributes songs to the episodes. The songs do a great job of parodying something you could hear in a commercial. They're just perfect little commercial jingles, and then they drop an F-bomb out of nowhere, which completely catches you off guard. The non-trio episodes of Season 2 are kind of a slog to get through and nothing really happens. There's way more improv and less analysis, and they sometimes feel a lot like less reviews, with Motherfucker Mike being used less sparingly. There's an episode that's shot live at PAX, an annual gaming expo, and it's incredibly out of place in the chronology. Like, it's just playing a board game with other people I've never heard of besides Kevin Finn and fellow Kickassia cast member Angry Joe. It's like a vlog, not an episode. Why is this here? The biggest instance of wasted potential in the series has to be the Doggy Doo episode. I don't know when this started, but when I was a kid, it drove me crazy that all the new board games that were coming out involved toilet humor, like Doggy Doo, Peeing Cup, Doo-Doo Kangaroo, Toilet Trouble, Guess Poo, Don't Step in It, Shoot the Poop, Flushin' Frenzy, Monkey See, Monkey Poo, Pick-a-Poo, Poop Wars. Like, do companies just want kids to play with dog turds? Maybe I was the weird kid for not wanting to play with dog turds. Like, 21st century children's board games have a strong emphasis on toilet humor, and even as a kid I found it insulting. And this episode could have been a really good dive into the over-reliance on toilet humor, but it's just dicking off with dog turds like the game suggests. It's also out of character for board games to enjoy playing with dog turds. Wait, did South Park predict modern board games?
I made a mariachi, Mr. Hanky. Now it's a Mrs. Hanky. Let's put the Fez hat on him. I wish Daddy was still alive.
The season finale, Dream Phone, is another highlight of the series, being another great apeshit horror, turning a surprisingly good game for little girls into a possessed humanoid villain. Dream Phone was also intended as an ending to the series. Afterward, the series would go on hiatus until 2015 with 8 more episodes. And that year, it was back and better than ever. In fact, there were more Board James episodes than AVGN episodes in 2015, but not total runtime. You see, this is when Bimmy complained about time restrictions reasonably. Dedicating so much time to this project over the nerd was a risk that paid off in my opinion. The shot composition is improved and the attic setting is a well-detailed set, further allowing more lighting tricks, with previous episodes being shot in familiar rooms. And it's an extremely minor nitpick to say, does the nerd mind Board James playing in his room? So with this season, they actually eliminated the need to ask a completely inconsequential question. Full House and Urkel Games was the first Cinemassacre video I ever saw, even before the discovery of the nerd, so I have a soft spot for that one. But it works as a great parody of the TGIF family dynamic. Not sacrificing the continuity for a parody gimmick, a fun experiment integral to the plot. The next 3 episodes are headcanoned by fans as 3 different endings, which is a fun way to interpret it. Episode 25, Video Games, serving as a crossover between Board James and the Angry Video Game Nerd, which does a great job of showing the purposeful differentiation and inevitable similarities of the characters. Having Board James imagine the nerd and progressively agreeing with his criticism and taste of games. then becoming the angry video game nerd, creating an origin story for the angry video game nerd's personality. But the next two last episodes, the nerd does not appear, hence the argument of multiple endings. Episode 26, 13 Dead End Drive, ending with James in prison, and Episode 27, Nightmare and Beyond, having James die in a boat explosion. Each ending declaring how James didn't die, killed his friends, or his friends dying without his cause. Nightmare and Beyond, James says, is his second favorite thing he's ever made outside of AVGN. The series overall is a mixed bag. In the beginning is extremely underdeveloped, some in the middle is a slog. Even though you probably didn't click on this video without knowing what Board James is, and I just spoiled most of it, Mr. Bucket, Dream Phone, and the last season are definitely worth a watch. There's good stuff beyond that, but not everything is absolutely astounding. But it's a hell of a lot better than any of the most ambitious projects Channel Awesome has to offer. Truly a fun change of pace for a short bit, and a great extension of James's artistic interests as a person.